Yo, what's going on, guys? Cordy here, and welcome back to another Paragon video. In today's video, we're going to be doing a tier list. This is going to be a ranked tier list. I have a special guest with me, Vendors.
Hey guys.
If you guys don't know, Vendors is right now on the... You're second, right? Second on the leaderboard?
Currently rank 2.
Currently ranked 2 in NA. An ADC main, plays a lot of ADC. Do you play any other role besides ADC?
I can play support and solo.
Okay.
I cannot play the other roles.
That actually works out pretty well because I mainly play mid, jungle, and ADC, so we kind of have all the roles covered for this tier list of what we like. So that's not bad. That's pretty cool. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be doing a tier list just kind of based on what we think is top tier. We've been playing a lot of ranked. Like I said, he's number 2. I think I'm ranked like 20 with all the other gold 3 players. So we're just going to do a little tier list for you guys to help you, to make it easier for you guys to know what's top tier and ranked, what you should be playing, what you should be banning, just to make it a little easier for everyone to get into ranked. That way we can have some games, because apparently they're like 30-minute queues, and I'm not trying to wait 30-minute queues in gold rank. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot of heroes to get through. We're going to go through every single hero, just kind of break it down and just kind of give our thoughts and where we want to be put them at. But let's get into the video. All right, so first we're gonna get into Wraith. I mainly play him as like a mid. I think in the early part I did see a lot of like because he had like ranged abilities and he had a gun with basic attacks, so everyone thought, oh, we should build him like attack speed and crit. But lately, more recently, I've been seeing a lot more caster mid. I feel like he's played better in the mid lane. I know there's one person that plays like spams the crap out of Wraith. As far as his kit goes, I mean, he has his right click. It's on like I think it's a 5-second cooldown. He has really great pro. He can put a lot of pressure in mid, like laning pressure. But when it comes to late game, he doesn't really, like you said, he doesn't really have that like big mage caster presence. So I don't know. I think he's like kind of mid tier. I don't think he's really bad. I don't think he's super good. I just think he's kind of like meh. What about you?
I can absolutely agree with that. I think like you said, like he doesn't bring that pressure, that mage pressure. So I think he's more of just like sitting in between in the middle. Like he's not too strong, but he's not too weak. I personally would probably put him, I mean, if there was an in between a B and an A, I would put it there, but I don't know, maybe like A for me personally.
I think A is fine. Like he's like early mid game, he's really good at just applying pressure and getting those numbers up. Yeah, late game he definitely falls off more. I think he still can like make an impact on the game, even though it's like not a really huge impact, but he's still viable. So I think A is pretty solid.
Definitely. Also with the change of wards, it kind of brought him back a little bit because his ult used to have that utility where you could like invis your whole team. Now everyone having wards, they're just throughout the map all the time. But it is ranked, so you're not always having your teammates drop wards. But
yeah, I guess the positive thing is like he gets a free ward, right? An extra free ward.
Exactly.
He can make a little bit of money while he's laning.
Yep.
All right, so next up, Grux. So Grux is mainly played in the jungle. I think you definitely play him in the solo lane. He's definitely more of like a hybrid tanky build. I think he's pretty solid. He has a pull, he has an AoE stun, he has anti-heal in his kit that some people forget. You don't really need to build him full damage, and his clear is actually pretty solid as well. He's just there to be like just the big frontliner. What do you think about Grux?
So I really love Grux as like you said, like as a hybrid. He's very good at like pulling people in and getting that AoE stun. It really sets up your teammates really well. And I think he's like one of the best at his job in the jungle role or in the solo. He just typically can pull a lot of people in and just stun them, and it just sets your whole team up.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a frontliner that goes in.
Yeah.
What do you think he's like? Maybe A? I don't know if he's A plus. I feel like A plus and S is like that category where you're first picking them or you're banning them. I don't feel like he's up there. He's really good. I don't know if he's up that high.
I would definitely agree with A. I don't think like he's so broken that he's like S. like first pick, first ban.
Yeah.
But I definitely do believe that he's a very, very strong pick. And I don't know about A plus either. Just because I know there's some other junglers that do things a little bit better than him.
Yeah, jungle and solo. Yeah.
Yep. And so I think A is a really good spot for him.
Speaking of another, jungler or solo laner, Kwang, however you say his name. I hardly ever see this character. Like, I feel like he's really good, and mechanically, if you're good with him, he's really good. I rarely see him being played. What about you?
In terms of ranked, a lot at the earlier year, there were a lot of Kwang players. You don't really see them much anymore, typically because the character takes a lot of knowledge of his base kit and how to engage enemies. So it is a very high skill cap character. I think that if you learn that, then you have great kill potential, great utility, great escape. It's just you have to know exactly what you're doing at all times.
Yeah, no, I haven't played much of him, but I could tell like he definitely requires like a higher skill to play the hero. Like when you look at his like skills, like there's paragraphs on every ability. It's like, damn, there's so much to do with this character. He's definitely a higher skilled hero. Do you think he's like? I guess if played, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to put him because like in the right hands, I feel like he could be really good, like A plus. But I feel like majority of the player base don't really play him that well. That makes me want to put him like A or B. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with the A plus. Majority of the people that I do see nowadays play him. I don't want to meme or anything, but they make him look like a C.
No, it's true. Like he's really hard. He's really hard to play for sure.
For sure, but in the right hands, like he is one of the best junglers. He's just super agile, mobile. He can get in, stun a backline, and consistently stun and knock people up. And he does a ton of damage. Yeah. And I think in the right hands, I feel like personally it would be A plus.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the right hands, we could put him A plus. Just if you're really good with him, or if you want to learn him. And you get really good at the hero, then yeah, he definitely brings his rank super high.
Absolutely.
Next, Twin Blast. Dude, this guy got some love. Ooh. He got a lot of love. Before, he was like the worst ADC in my opinion. And then now they changed him. He's really, really good now.
Yeah. So I haven't looked too deep into the patch notes that happen. I knew before TV had a super long dash. It made him super good, and then I heard that they buffed his ult, I believe.
Wait, yeah, you don't know the buffs that they got? You play ADC.
I just feel it out, man. I feel it out. Yeah.
Dude, his ult is nuts. Okay, yeah, so you felt it out. What do you think?
I think that now that the buff on the ult and the revert on the E, it made him not only a super agile character, it made him very, very strong at level 6. Like you can 50-0 somebody just with the ult alone.
Yeah, dude. It still blows my mind that it does so much damage. Like when I use it and I kill someone, I'm like, dude, because his ult, like historically, I don't know if you played OG Paragon, but historically his ult was just like never really good. You would just like. You level it once and just never touch it again. But now I'm just like, dude, I want to put points into it.
Oh yeah. Personally, like this is where ADCs become very like controversial because I would say like I believe that TB is definitely better than like a Wraith. So I would be like, okay, so what are we looking at? Like A plus? Are we looking at A? I don't think he's S. Like I don't think people are just first picking TB because he's just so absolutely broken.
Well, I will say this though. So like maybe like the first Ranger that you would pick. I wouldn't be opposed to having like a first pick if you're picking like your first Ranger. I wouldn't be opposed to like first picking like a Twin Blast. Even though like we're gonna get to Sparrow and Sparrow's really good for sure. but like I would be okay with having Twin Blast.
Absolutely.
I was thinking A plus. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually love that. That's perfect.
Yeah, he's definitely not on like. Again, Wraith is more mainly the caster, but out of like the ADCs or the Rangers, I mean, the buffs that he's gotten, they did more damage on his right click. His dash is longer, and then his ult just feels so powerful now. Like early game, like I think he's definitely up there on the Rangers.
Absolutely.
All right, so for one of the characters that got really buffed to one of the people that got really nerfed, like, is this wrong? Like, just right there, F tier. Like, she's so bad.
So yes, from my understanding of Kalari, the wards that everyone got.
Yeah.
On top of like it being a already hard character to play, it did really nerf her to the ground.
So yeah, they originally like nerfed her right click like super hard. They did the distance, they shortened the distance, they increased the cooldown, decreased the damage. And then like on top of that, yeah, we got that ward change where everybody gets a ward, and it's like extended a long duration. It's just like it feels almost impossible, especially like in high tier rank. If you're picking Kalari, like I feel like you're not really being impactful at all.
Definitely, and every time that like you're in a fight with a Kalari, you can just see people just start dropping wards like left and right because they know the second they go invis, they're just they're gone.
And then you don't have any CCs. Like if you do happen to jump on somebody, say like Kalari jumps on a backliner or the ranger, like you're gonna get met with like CC either from the mage or from like the support, where your ult kind of just gets negated pretty much, and you're just there sitting target.
Absolutely.
But do you agree with F? Do you think she has some like? I personally think she's like the worst hero in the game right now.
I mean, I personally like I do believe she's a very, very bad character. I think that she can be played, but I think
even like one of the main like Kalari players has not touched Kalari.
Not touching it at all. Because he knows it's
a throw.
Yeah, it's an insta throw. So yeah, maybe F's a perfectly good spot.
Yeah, I think I feel like she is probably just the worst character. They inadvertently nerfed her again whenever they introduced the wards.
Oh god.
All right, so next Shinbi. I don't know. You play more like solo and like support ADC. I think Shinbi is kind of cracked.
Okay.
I play her.
We're on the same page.
Okay. I play her in the jungle. Like, I mean, solo lane. I haven't played much in the solo lane, but in the jungle, it does take a little while to get online. But once you do get online, like level 11, you get 2 points to your ultimate. You have like 2 full items at that point. At that stage, you're just kind of like deleting everybody with your ult. Even like through like Fnatic's Desert. If you're going against like another carry. You shred through that Fnatic's Desert for the most part.
Oh yeah,
especially late game.
You could like 45-50 somebody just with her ult alone.
Yeah.
I think if the ADC doesn't have like a unity on them, then you're just deleting them instantly. Like
yeah, people aren't playing much. I really think her early game is pretty rough. Because I don't really see her a lot in the solo. I don't personally play her in the solo because I just don't really play solo. But in the jungle, like if I'm looking to hard carry a game, like when it comes to that 11 level mark, that's kind of where Shimmy just takes off.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Typically, what I see is people still just build her full damage, but they'll try to go for like that lifesteal early. Because in solo, like you're trading a lot, so getting that lifesteal early to kind of sustain, and then kind of make it to that mid game where you're starting to get very impactful. Like you said, like 2 points into your ult, just to burst people down, and then kind of hyper carry out a game. Is what I see.
So as far as placements go, I don't think she's S tier. I don't think she's late game late game three ults in full items. She's broken. I don't think people are like in ranked. People aren't really picking her often, and people aren't really banning her. So I don't really put her in the S tier. I'm kind of more comfortable putting it at A+. What do you think?
Honestly, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that a lot. People don't typically play her a lot. I think it's because her early game is a lot harder to kind of make it through. But if you make it through that early game, you're in that mid game where you're kind of cooking, and then you're into that late game, you're super strong.
Yeah, I mean, like actually just like late game 100 to 0 delete a backliner. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Through Fanatics assert, and then I hate that item. That item's busted, but can't wait till they nerf that item. I bitched about that plenty of times, but
hasn't it been nerfed already? Is it getting nerfed again?
No, I don't think. I don't even know if they nerfed it. I feel like they never touched it.
I feel like they brought the shield down a little bit.
Did they?
Maybe they haven't.
I don't remember. I want them to.
Maybe I'm lying. I don't know.
I think you're speaking in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So A+, we agree on an A+.
A+, absolutely.
Okay. Sarah, do you play Seraphim solo at all?
So I have, and when I did, I kind of struggled a little bit, and I haven't played her since the dual moon changes. That would definitely be more of a jungler thing. But when I did play it in solo, it was a bit of a struggle, because you don't have lockdown like other solo laners.
Yeah.
You have a ton of burst and you have a amazing ult, but without lockdown or stuns, you would typically find yourself struggling to run down a carry or stick on a carry and kind of be that backline aggressor that your team would want.
Yeah. Yeah, then it's like that's just like her main downfall. Like I play her in the jungle. I think she's really good and does great damage in the jungle. Definitely go like a hybrid build with her. You don't want to go full damage. But yeah, she has no. I think the CC immunity is kind of broken. I don't know. I feel like it's broken sometimes. But
yeah,
she just doesn't have like really good like control. She doesn't provide any CC to the enemy team at all. Just kind of go in and try to do as much damage as you can. She's not like terrible. She's not really good. If she had CC, she'd be really good. But I feel like she's kind of like A category. She's kind of like mediocre.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, like that, not having that lockdown, and then even that time in the queue where you're like queuing for the immunity, like people take that opportunity to start getting a couple feet away from you. And I think like queuing just for immunity to maybe damage to prevent a death or to stop people's running, like you just end up spending more time in the immunity frame than you actually do catching them.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes like I use it. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be in here this long. It's like I didn't mean to go this long with it. It's still kind of wonky. I don't know. If they clean that up, I don't know.
If they made it like a toggle, maybe that'd make it really nice.
Like if you press it once like to prevent a CC, kind of like a thing now, I guess.
Yeah.
But not like have that full like duration where you're just like standing there. Yeah, that wouldn't be terrible. That'd be a pretty solid buff for her.
For sure.
But yeah, I think A tier is just pretty good for her.
For sure.
All right, Sparrow. This is like the one hero that you spam.
Oh, this is my queen. I am religious to this character.
Yeah. So if Sparrow's up, you're first picking Sparrow always.
Always.
What makes Sparrow so good?
So, I think now everybody can disagree with me, but I personally think that Sparrow is a S tier character, and as to why I think that is because she not only has a stem, not only has an AoE ult that can hit multiple people, she has a slow, and there is no character in the game that can block her from hitting your backline unless there's an Aurora. So technically one character. But if you Decker ult her, then she can just ult and she can shoot through the Decker ult.
Wait, her ult goes through Decker ult?
Yes.
Is that supposed to happen?
I
didn't know her.
Now, as of right now, she can go through Decker ult.
What? Does it say anywhere on her kit that her ult goes through, her shots go through like
No.
walls and stuff? Like, I mean, you can't shoot through like actual walls, but like a Decker cage, it goes through.
Yes, Decker Cage it goes through.
And this is the ult.
Just the ult, yes.
That's got to be a bug because I feel like it doesn't go through normal walls, but nothing really penetrates. Does it go through steel ult or steel wall?
No, it does not go through steel wall.
Okay, yeah, it's got to be a bug.
It doesn't go through steel or Aurora wall, so I guess technically two. But
it's got to be a bug then. Okay.
Yeah, she can't be Decker ulted and yeah, she can just kill everyone through a Decker ult. So
yeah, no, I agree. She's really good. I think she's definitely the better ADCs out of all of them, or Rangers out of all of them. I know one annoying factor that she has that she has like that range poke. I don't think you mentioned it, but like when you're laning, you could just like hold your right click and hit the wave while hitting the enemy ADC, enemy ranger, and there's not really a whole lot of anything else. Yeah, they just take that damage.
Yeah, unless you're just missing, like there's no avoiding it. So, personally, I think she's an S tier character, my favorite queen. But
I don't know, S. So again, S is more like first picking, like this is banning. I don't want to deal with this. Ban this. I don't ever see myself. I know she's really good, but I don't really see myself banning. Like just take Spear off. Unless I know it's you, then I'm like, okay, let's ban her.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Then I would agree A+ for sure.
I think she's A+, and like if we were to do like something like this where she's better than all the other Rangers.
Yes, for sure.
We'll definitely get some S in there for sure. Gideon. All right, so Gideon in my mind, because I play a lot. It's kind of like I guess my main role. One of my main roles is casters, and I think Gideon's pretty good. He is definitely the safest. He has when he gets pretty late, your two abilities can pretty decent range on your two abilities to kind of just take a lot of damage off of the backliners. Maybe proc a Fnatic's Xur before engaging. The only difficult part is finding a really good chance to get a good ult. But if you can, it can definitely change the team fight. What do you think about Gideon?
I think one of the strongest things about Gideon is actually his ult. Being able to suck in 3, 4, maybe even 5 if you're really lucky people into one tiny circle for your entire team is such an amazing ult. Like you said, he's one of the safest mages. He's one of the hardest to catch, having like a blink on his abilities, and then also having his stone to blink for. This also isn't like my expertise, but
yeah, like if I'm playing jungle, I'm just like, I don't like. There's no point in gank Gideon. I don't even want to rotate.
yeah, for sure. I think I want to say he's an A character, but that's just me.
Yeah, and for me personally, I feel like he's the better out of all the mages, and he's really easy to play too. Like the main thing is just like learning how to combo your right click and your Q, and then knowing when to ult. It's just kind of like the main thing, just because he's just super safe that even new players can not go 0-20 with him. But I was thinking like A+, but if you think he's A, do you think any other mage is better than him? Like just in the caster category?
See, that's really tricky because in this list, I think that Howie's also a very good mage.
I'm glad you said that, because I've been preaching it for a long time now, and he's still getting buffed.
He is a very, very strong mage, especially late game. Like you just delete people off the face of the earth.
His Q just deletes. It does so much damage.
I think Sparrow and Gadget, or Sparrow. I think Faye and Gadget kind of suffer. They kind of suffer a little bit of the same thing. I think personally, where their damage kind of got drawn back a lot. and the other two mages like Gideon and Howitzer, their damages started to shine more.
Would you be comfortable with him, like, I know you said A, but would you be comfortable with A plus? Like he's
absolutely, yeah.
Like if you're playing ranked and you see someone pick Gideon, you're like, okay, we're chilling, we're good. Like, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, especially mid. I think when somebody picks that, and it's just like you said, it's very hard to gank.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like an obsolete lane, so you don't really have to worry about that lane being an issue. So junglers can kind of just spend more time doing other things.
All right, so A plus. Now Faye. So we're briefly just talking about Faye. Yeah, I've tried playing her more and more. Just like it's really hard to get a really good feeling about her. I think one of the nerfs to teardrop, it brought down the damage a little bit, which also hurt Faye, because Faye really only has like two main like flat damaging abilities, and one of them is the ult. So the nerf to teardrop, it's a lot of tick damage. You're not getting the full max of those abilities. So nerf to teardrop was kind of rough on her. They also nerfed her E. They reduced her damage a lot, and I think they increased the cooldown. I can't remember, but I know they nerfed the damage on it. She's still really good, especially like in a team fight. Her abilities are really solid. Her ult's pretty good to bring everyone together, to put people out of position, or just have like a really good, just huge AoE team fight ult. But yeah, I feel like she just doesn't do the damage like a Gideon or the Howie does, like that late.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, she feels like just a pretty like baseline. This is where the mages should be at.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely when I'm getting ran up by a Faye, I definitely feel like I got sneezed on. not nothing too serious.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it sucks because like they nerfed her main damaging ability, while all the others, it's like if you stand in those other abilities, yeah, you're gonna take a lot of damage, but like, why are you standing in there for 5 seconds anyways?
Exactly.
Or 3 seconds, however long it is. But yeah, I think she's like very mediocre. A, maybe B, but I think A is probably pretty solid for her.
I could say that, yeah. I was gonna definitely say A, because yeah, just that late game presence is a little bit lackluster, considering the other mages.
So Murdoch, with the love of like TB and Sparrow coming out, Murdoch kind of fell behind.
He did, and especially like how items are now compared to how they used to be. It kind of hurt him a little bit, because now people are more going off of like TV has his right click where Sparrow has her E, and that those both benefit from shooting faster or one having a stem over the other, and Murdoch kind of just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
He just has missiles and an ult, and granted those do a lot of damage. Late game it kind of falls off a little bit harder.
Yeah, and then also like his E is pretty much useless unless you're trolling someone who's backing under their tower.
Yeah, I don't even think I leveled that to like 13.
Yeah, I don't until I have to either. Or if I'm getting like pressured out in lane, I'm like, all right, dude, I'll just sit back here and do this. But yeah, another thing about the like steroids, because Sparrow has a steroid, TB's like base stats are super high for attack speed. So even though you're not getting a steroid, you're getting a lot more attack speed than you normally would on other rangers. But yeah, I feel like Murdoch kind of got left behind whenever TB got so low. So since you're the ranger main, where would you place him at?
So I think that Murdoch does have the ability, I think it got nerfed at one point a little bit, but his right click, being able to blow people back, it used to go a lot further. It even seems ridiculous right now, but I think
it is pretty good pill.
Yeah, I think he's definitely an A.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say as well.
But I think he's definitely an A.
Yeah, he's definitely like third out of these two, and he's not like terrible where you don't want to pick him. So yeah,
absolutely.
I'm definitely agree with A.
Yeah.
All right, next up, the one person, this hero I hate so much, and they've yet to nerf her, Muriel. What are your thoughts on Muriel? Because you play a lot of the Rangers, so you always get Muriel supports. What do you
Yes,
think about it?
I'm always next to these guys. I think Muriel is a mid game, definitely a very strong late game support. I think her shielding is just out of this world, especially when you start getting to that mid game and you're getting like half health bar shields.
And it's like on a 6-second cooldown.
Yeah, yeah. I think she's one of the stronger supports in the game. So I think she's more of an A plus character.
Thinking plus, yeah, I was gonna go S
Yeah.
tier. I feel like she might be one of the few S tiers like who actually could see potential ban and first picking. Like if it's not going, if she's not banned, because I know we see like a lot of Wukong and Iggy bans for whatever reason. But like if Muriel is up, I'm like asking my support, yo, you want Muriel? And it's like, we'll first pick Muriel.
Absolutely. So I definitely think that she could be definitely S tier. I believe before all these characters that came out recently, I believe she was one of the bans that used to just go through all the time.
Yeah. Like in old rank, or I guess last split or whatever.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people are banning Wukong and Iggy, and we'll get to them. But yeah, before she was definitely banned, top ban or top pick, and they haven't nerfed her yet. I've been complaining about her since OP, even like OG Paragon. I was complaining about her, and they still have not nerfed this hero.
I think maybe it's just they don't want the character to fall off. I don't know.
Like,
it's just
only person with the global ults. The right click is on a super low cooldown, gives you so much shields, it gives you movement speed, and it's like on a 6-second cooldown, and then she has a stun as well. Yeah. Oh, also like the right click can go through walls. I think they're gonna adjust that, but it goes through walls now, and it's like the length of a lane from tower to tower. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought it was like a football field long or something.
Every time I'm like fighting someone, I'm just like out of nowhere a Muriel shield pops up. Like, where the hell is she at? I don't even see her.
Yeah,
it's so
absolutely.
Annoying. Yep. But would you agree with me if we put her at S tier?
Yeah, she's a super strong character, so yeah.
Alright, Wukong. So he is banned a lot. I think in the right hands, he is definitely annoying to deal with, but I think for majority of people, they don't play him that well. What are your thoughts on Wukong?
I think one of the biggest things that I notice about Wukong is when I'm playing against it, I don't feel like he's particularly like overwhelming in any type of way. I think it's how people play it or how it's played. A lot of people kind of go for the objectives or split push something down, and I think definitely using that to your advantage makes that pick very strong. But also could be the opposite at the same time. It's like a coin flip kind of.
Yeah. I think that I've always like kind of said about Wukong too is if your team is he's really good if your team is doing fine with the 4v5. Like he shines. If your team is losing a 4v5, then he's kind of like he can't really do much, right? Because you shouldn't be able to get, ideally, you shouldn't be able to like be isolated on objectives. It should be warded up. People should like rotate and inspect it, knowing that they have a Wukong in the team. You shouldn't get free objectives. You shouldn't be able to like backdoor so easily. But if your team is winning the 4v5, then yeah, it makes it so much easier for you to kind of pop off as Wukong, I guess, as like split pushing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I feel like it's really hard to place him because he does get banned a lot. We see him banned a lot in ranked, but I just feel like it's kind of either a target ban because there's like one player that queues ranked that people ban him, or he's just people don't want to deal with it.
True.
So it's kind of hard to place him.
Yeah. Typically, like when I see people playing it, I don't see it too strong, but I don't see it too weak. And it does get banned a lot.
Yeah, and again, I think he's just banned because people just don't really want to deal with it. I mean, sometimes too, like I don't like having a Wukong on my team, so maybe that's could be another reason why people ban it, so they don't have their like solo or jungler pick up Wukong. Because like
Yeah.
if someone picks Wukong, you're like, great, now we're just gonna play a 4v5. That's kind of what it is. I don't think he's S tier. I know he gets banned a lot. I just don't think he's like that amazing. To put an S tier. I don't know.
I feel like I'm not gonna lie, and we may disagree on this, but I feel like he's an A character.
You think he's an A? I honestly don't. I do agree with you. Like, in solo, he just farms lane. We'll kind of like break him down even more. Solo, he farms lane. He doesn't really rotate to beat team fights. He doesn't really have a team fight presence. If he's jungling, you don't really have to worry about him ganking you. Like, there's been plenty of times where I'm playing mid and I get ganked by a Wukong. I'm like, all right, what's up, bro? What are you gonna do?
Like, just laugh it off.
Like, I'll just kind of reposition and you can stun me back to my tower. Like, it doesn't have any like hard CCs other than the stun that pushes you away.
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing that he really does is split push, solo objectives, and again, if you're winning the 4v5, he shines. If you're losing the 4v5, then the enemy team is more than likely having those objectives awarded and either or possibly doing the objectives themselves. But yeah, I could agree that he's like A tier.
Yeah.
Maybe
Definitely.
even in the right hands, it just kind of depends on how your team is doing.
Like one time, I accidentally left Iggy and Wukong open, and I had to deal with both of those. They were soloing objectives together in like 5 seconds.
Nasty. Yeah.
They did prime in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, both of them go unchecked. That's kind of nasty.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know, that might be just the reason why people ban it. Like, I don't think it's banning because they're really good. I think it's just banning because they don't really want to deal with those heroes.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, FaZe. What do you think about FaZe?
I think she's a super strong lane character. I think she has the ability to always take someone out of the fight instantly. I think that her AoE team fight presence is a lot weaker to like Howitzer or Gideon, but I think she has the ability to take out like an ADC or a mid laner very, very quickly.
Yeah, she does do crazy damage. Like, it's not big AoE damage, yeah, but like that one-on-one, if you can get that one-on-one, yeah, she does insane damage for sure.
Absolutely. I think she's more of an A character to me. Just because she doesn't have like that big AoE teamfight presence, but she does have the ability to kill off a character in a 1v1 very, very quickly.
Yeah, I can agree with that. A tier. I think my only thing is for FaZe, like, I feel like laning's a little bit rough because you don't have any kind of escape. So if you do get pressured out by the jungler early on, that can definitely put you behind. And then when it comes to late game team fights, yeah, you don't have that massive AoE, and you're more of like, you have to be in melee range really to get those abilities off. Whether like, Gideon or Howitzer, they could just stand back and Q you from far away or something along the lines. So usually the front line, the tank, the hybrid jungle tank, whatever, is going to be the one in front of your face. But yeah, if she can get to that backliner, she can definitely just insta delete somebody.
Exactly.
All right, how about Aurora? This is more of a solo lane pick, even though she's classified as a caster for some odd reason.
So this character, I would specify, like, this character is not a very good ranked character. I think competitive wise, like, she brings a lot of CC, an amazing team fight, but in ranked she lacks a lot of damage. you can't coordinate with your team when you're doing certain things, and I think that she really falls off hard because of that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you too. Like in comp, like if you're actually competitive, you're doing like scrims, or if you're actually like competing on 5v5s with teams and with comms. Like she provides great CCs. She has that wall that can block people off, which is kind of weird that it's impenetrable too. I found this out when I was playing Wraith, that I can't shoot through her walls, and it doesn't say anything on there either that she blocks like projectiles, whatever. Even like I don't think Sparrow's right click can go through her wall either.
No. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think it it doesn't say on her kit, but yeah, she has AoE stun. She can wall. She has really good escapes. She could be like a pain in the ass. Like if you're getting to the back line and they're trying to focus you, then you like get back out. Yeah, I feel like in competitive wise, if you're in team comms, you're 5v5ing, like screaming or whatever it may be, I feel like she's really good. But yeah, like in ranked, it's not really always like that. It doesn't play out like that. Those kind of games.
Yeah, I think she, for me, I would put her at like a B or a C.
B or C? Oh, for ranked? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like she, just because a lot of people don't play her, and when she does get played, she falls really far behind, and you don't have the comms there to tell your team, hey, I'm going in, I'm gonna stun everyone right now.
You definitely need your team to back you up for sure when you play her.
Yeah. Also, I didn't mention this, but when you're like doing spirits with Aurora, you can use that I don't know what the ability's called, but you can use it. That you could use that to tank spirit.
Oh yeah.
It helps a lot keeping your team healthy. So she's a very, very good team-oriented character. I just think when it comes to ranked and when you need to like carry your lane or you need to perform, I think that that's a character that falls off really hard.
Okay. Howitzer. From what you've been telling me throughout this tier list, I feel like you like Howitzer.
Yes, he's a very, very good character.
I don't know why people are sleeping on this hero, man. I've been preaching this hero for a while, that he's just really good, and they buffed him. Like his Q hits super hard when it comes to late game. His right click, pretty solid damage, I guess, decent damage. His knockback, they increase the radius, I guess, because apparently you don't read the patch notes. They increase his radius. I don't know if you've seen it in game, but like that radius is massive.
I feel it for sure.
So like if you're getting ganked, you can use that as kind of an escape tool. And then for me, when I'm laning as Howitzer, I'll combo all of them. I'll knock him away, and then kind of get him in a different position and just like Q right click them and either like half out them or whatever.
Or just kill him.
Yeah, because he does a lot of damage. And then his ult's really good. It's more of like a zoning ult. You don't really do a lot of damage with it unless you can get that kind of guaranteed damage. It's mainly like a zoning ult, and then especially like around team fights, whenever the spirit or prime gets low, you pop your ult on the objective to try to like zone people from getting in. But yeah, I think he's really good. I've been preaching this hero for a while now, but I think he's like definitely A+ on the same line with Gideon.
Yeah, I'm on that train with you. Just great zoning, great damage, and he just does his job really well. So A+ for sure.
Yeah, I feel like his Q is probably the hardest hitting mage ability. I'm pretty sure it's like stronger than Gideon. I feel like it's stronger than Gadget Bomb late game too. I don't know. The scaling is. I'm pretty sure the scaling is like 110%.
It's something really strong, for sure.
Yeah, he frags. All right, Sevarog, mainly a solo laner, sometimes played in the jungle. What do you think about him?
So this is an interesting one. So Sevarog had a lot of play at the early of, I would say, last season. He was played a lot as a solo laner, but also as a very strong jungler. The reason being is because his Q was on a super short cooldown, and you could repeatedly farm. You could get a lot of damage off, and I believe that item nerfs kind of came in between then and now, so you don't see a lot of play of him anymore. But I think as a solo laner, he's still very strong late game. He's a strong like mid game, late game character. Becomes very beefy, and you have the ability to displace your enemies kind of into your backline. And
yeah, he has short cooldowns too. I feel like his root's always coming up like 6 seconds or something crazy.
Yeah. So,
and then oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that I think that he's for me like an A character, just because of the itemization changes, and kind of like how the meta is right now.
Yeah, another good thing too. I mean, I know you mentioned like the displacement. Like when it comes to late game like prime fights or spirit fights, I'm always seeing like a Seb just winding up that hammer to knock away the jungler away. And just getting out secured, letting the jungler secure it. So it's pretty huge team fight there. But yeah, I think he's pretty solid. You said A?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking A plus, but I mean he's not bad for him, but he's definitely pretty good. He's definitely that mid like A plus A category for sure.
Kind of just in between there. Kind of just. I think if they change some items, and absolutely A plus without a doubt. So.
All right. Next up, Rampage. I think Rampage is kind of falling off. I feel like it was really good in the beginning, and then people just stopped playing him.
Yeah. They made changes, I believe, to scissors. And those two combined, like that item combined with Rampage, made him so unbelievably strong, especially in the mid game. He was already like a very strong contender in solo with Steel. But then once they kind of changed Zymia's and they changed scissors, it kind of started making him fall off a lot more.
Yeah, before he was like definitely top ban or top pick. Like last season or split. But yeah, now I don't really see him like he's definitely not top ban, but I don't really see him being like, oh, give me Rampage here first pick. It's just kind of if he's there and no one else is up, I'll take him, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you thinking, like A tier? I don't think he's like bad like B tier.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not an Aurora tier.
It's kind of solid tier there.
Yeah, for sure.
Crunch. So I play Crunch a lot in the jungle. Have you played him much in the solo?
I have not played him yet in the solo. No.
Have you played him at all?
I have not. Not a single hour on him.
So I feel like he's really good. His cooldowns are insane. You definitely should try him. But before they buffed him recently, he was really good. The only bad thing is his engage was lacking because his distance wasn't long. But they gave him a buff to where they increased the range on his dash, and then they also did more buffs. I think they lowered more cooldowns, gave him more damage or something. They just like I don't know why they do this, but they like overbuffed him. But now he's really good in the jungle. He could definitely be a frontliner. He has easy CC applied. He has a knock-up. He has a stun. If you're good with your cooldowns, I think late game his ult is on a 15-second cooldown, so you can like spam your previous ability like right away. So if you're wise with it, you can like if you need to escape, you dash and then you'll get that extra dash again. But yeah, I think he's pretty solid. He's definitely not S tier. Maybe he's like borderline A plus A tier.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you seen much? I just feel like people don't play him a lot. Maybe they don't know about his kit. But have you seen him much in ranked?
I don't really see him that much. But when I go against him, like I can definitely feel like what you're talking about when he has a engage with his dash.
Yeah.
I can definitely feel like it does make him a stronger impact for sure.
Yeah. I think I'd be comfortable with like putting him at A tier.
Okay. For sure.
Feng Mao. What do you think about Feng Mao? You play much Feng Mao?
So as a solo laner, I think he kind of he struggles when you become too tanky. But if you become too more like, if you start building more like a jungler, like too much, then he becomes also too squishy. I think he kind of has to be in that hybrid area when you're playing in solo, kind of like Grux. I think he has a lot of utility, especially between his dash and getting the immunity on his Q. So I think that makes him a very strong pick. And then having the execute above everything else. Not any other, like no character in the game kind of gets that, and it being on a reset can make him very, very strong in the late game.
Yeah, for me, I definitely like picking, like if I need to be like kind of a hybrid frontliner, I'm definitely looking at Fang. He doesn't do a lot of damage because the only really damage ability he has is going to be his like whirlwind. The Q is that immunity, and you're not always dashing to do damage. And you're kind of like, usually you're prioritizing your shield over your dash anyways. But yeah, so he doesn't do tons of damage, but he can provide some like AoE slows, kind of be just in front of like the carries, kind of just frontlining or front facing them to take some damage. And the execute, that's like the one thing I like about his execute, because again, I hate Fnatic's Dessert. Even though I play that role, I hate that item so much. Like usually whenever your Fnatic Dessert procs, that's when you're in that threshold for Feng Mao. So he could just ult you through that Fnatic Dessert, or if there's a Muriel, he can just ult you through those shields. It's kind of really the only counter to shields is his execution. But yeah, I think he's a pretty just like decent jungler. I think like probably an A tier jungle, or AT jungle or solo for me. What do you think?
He's a very just solid character. Like he's not too much over, he's not under by any means. I think he's kind of just right there with everybody else. So I think A is a very good spot for him.
Right. Next up, we got Belica. Belica's been having a resurgence lately. I think before she wasn't that great, but now we're seeing a lot more people playing it, and they did make her bomb like a bigger radius, so it's a little bit easier to hit. And it's also like at level 1, it's a 5-second cooldown, or 6 seconds, which is insane. The only negative thing, or I guess two negative things I have about Belica for me, like being as a caster main, is she's immobile, so you have to use your knockup to try to peel for yourself. Even then, if you're like too far from tower or just in a bad spot, that knockup's not going to save you that much. And then the second thing is her ult. When it comes to like late game team fights, I feel like the fights happen really quick, and you either die or you win, and then that's it. You kind of run away. They don't. I really don't feel them going long enough to where you're effective with your ult, unless it's on the enemy caster who is also spamming abilities at range. It's kind of the only person you really can target like late game.
Definitely. Especially like in those late game team fights, like you said, they go very fast, so she doesn't have insane utility out of that drone. Yes, like every single time that someone casts an ability, it does damage to them and drains their mana very quickly. Those fights will happen in maybe 10 seconds, and I don't think that the ult is just going to be a make it or break it type thing.
And also with the drone too, it's like, if it does damage, right? If it stays up long enough to do that damage, and if they're not staying in that circle, or if they don't shoot it down, then like the drone becomes kind of effective. But it's a super long cooldown. I think it's like 35 seconds at level 1. I don't know if it scales down, but it's so crazy long. But yeah, that's my only really big problem with her is she does really great damage with the knockup and the right click. But when it comes to late game, you don't have that big howitzer ult. You don't have that big Gideon ult. You don't have that big like Faye AoE ult. It's a single target, and that's if that fight goes long enough to where they're low on mana to where it becomes effective.
Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of things that have to happen for that drone to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about this character? What do you think she should be put?
It's tough because I know she can do like crazy damage. It's just in the right scenarios. I feel like she's A. I don't really want to put her in B because she's not terrible mage. I wouldn't be like comparing her to Faye because Faye's an A tier as well. Like I'd be fine with either one of these. I wouldn't say one of them is like I don't think Faye's better than Bellica, but I think A tier is probably just an okay like safe spot for her.
Yeah, I think if you're comparing her to like Faye or FaZe or even Wraith in mid lane, I think she kind of just matches up with them in terms of where I would be placing them. So
yeah, the main thing is just you could definitely get around with like being safe in lane, not having that mobility. You can get around with that. It's just like the late game team fights, they happen so fast. But like rangers do so much damage, the mages can do so much damage that you're ult. It's hard to like find a really good chance to use your ult.
Absolutely.
All right, next up, Countess. Countess is kind of tough. Like she's another assassin, mage assassin like Shinbi, but I feel like Shinbi's on a whole different level than Countess, especially when it comes to like late game ulting. She does great damage, yes, but Shinbi's way more safe than Countess.
Yeah. I think Countess like struggles in the late game from yes, she could 100-0 a carry very, very quickly, but the turn factor of just like you going in and ulting, you're more than likely out of that ult getting poed or stunned or caged or just anything. And I think late game, that's one of the biggest things she struggles from.
Yeah. And she doesn't have any escape, right? She's like an all-in character. She can't like blink or like dash away. She has to dash onto an enemy, so you have to go in. I don't really see her like in like the higher ranks. I think maybe lower ranks and like placements you might see her like solo Countess, but I don't really see a lot of solo Countess in the higher ranks. Do you see any?
No,
Do you see Countess at all?
I don't think she could be played in solo. I think she would not only struggle in the laning phase, but once you get past that point, you're just going to be so far behind that you're just going to be struggling for the rest of the game. You're just going to need like shutdown gold or just something that would not come from like your laning phase or anything like that. Yeah. So
you really have to hope that you blow up the ranger. If you're going on the ranger, you have to hope that you actually kill them through desert, because if not, you're just going to get melted in the face. Or like Shinbi late game, she can easily, even safely too, ult from range and then like double dash away. Countess can't really do that.
Yep.
Where would you put Countess at?
Ooh, I think she's an A character for me.
She's an A? Okay. I was gonna say maybe like B, but I'm fine with A too. Either like A is B-ish for me.
I would say like maybe if we were able to like knock Aurora down a tier, then absolutely I'd put like Countess at A or on B. I mean,
okay. You think Aurora's that bad?
I think she just can't be played in ranked effectively. And I think Countess, like, she can be played, but you're almost always gonna be playing from like behind.
She's definitely Countess is definitely like my job is to go in, kill their backliner, and die as well with the backliner. Yep. What your goal is.
Basically.
All right. Next up, Mako. What do you think about him?
I think Mako, considering nerfs and changes to the other supports, I think Mako releasing was a very, very strong support. He has a heal that's based off his health. He has a knockback.
I think it's based off of the player's max health. It's like the bigger health pool you have, like on a tank, you get more than like on the ranger.
I meant like when you shoot it at them, like your health.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And he has a knockback. He has an escape. And then on his ult, he has he can knock multiple players and stun them basically.
Yeah, he's a really good ult.
And it also heals. So I think Mako overall is just a very, very strong support.
So definitely like, support. Now, how about? I know you played enough rank. You might have played with me when I've done this, but how about a Mako mid? What do you think about that? Have you seen Mako as a caster?
I have. I think it's one of those picks where it can be a very solid, strong pick. It's just you have to whittle your enemies down a little bit.
Yeah. You definitely get carried by Teardrop for sure.
Yeah. It's not something that you can just run at somebody and 100-0 them. But it's something that, like, if you have a little bit of a duration in a fight or you get some damage off before a fight, it can be definitely a very strong pick. So
as far as like ranking goes, do you think he's on the same line as a Muriel? You think he's that good, or he'd be like A+?
I think he's on the exact same level with Muriel.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. The healing is really great. The shield factor that he has, I rarely ever see that. Like he reduces like shields or something. But yeah, the healing factor is insane, especially late game if you're healing like a frontliner. You can like, and his Q's on a, I think 3.5 and like without CDR, it's 3.5 or something like that. So you can like top them off with like 10 seconds, they're full health already. Yeah, just the CC he provides and the safety that he has as well. I think he's really good. Yeah, I'm definitely cool with S tier.
Cool.
Xena.
Ooh.
I think Xena's pretty good personally. The one we talked about him before, the Klari main is only playing Xena now. But I feel like Xena, for me, she is like the true definition of what an assassin should be. Like a physical assassin. You go in, you pop all your abilities, and then you try to get out. That's kind of what the true thing is. And then she does also provide some CC. She has a knockup. If they have like, you can avoid, if you do it correctly, you can avoid some damage. You can follow their blinks if you predict their blinks. I think she's just a really solid jungler. I don't really see her much in the solo, but jungling, I think she's pretty solid.
Yeah, she's definitely more of a jungle pick. I don't really see her in solo ever, so I wouldn't know how to really rate this. But what do you think?
I think she's A+. A+? Yeah,
okay.
Like if you're a good if you can be a good jungler, like I said, you go in, your goal is to get to the back line, the ranger or the caster, and then delete them. So she goes in, that does a lot of damage already if she can get that hit on the dash. The really bad thing about it is her dash is really wonky because of like desync and shit like that. So sometimes you might get teleported back or whatever it may be, but ideally you get to the back line, that does damage, you'll knock them up, you're going to use your Spirit Fang to do more damage, and then by that time you just ult them to either chase their dash, chase their teleport, or prevent from you taking damage. Then hopefully kill them then. And then once you kill them, your dash resets so you can just kind of get out.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she's a A+ for me out of the other junglers.
She's a very, very strong pick, so.
All right, so next, the other top ban hero, probably not so good character, but the other top ban because we don't want to deal with it, Iggy. I've said in the past, I think Iggy was really great, but after playing it and more people like understanding his kid, and he got a little nerf on his ult, because whenever they buffed him, his ult was nasty. They nerfed his ult down. Laning phase, he's definitely a lane bully. Like any other ranger or any other caster you're going against, he just has lane dominance, which could put him in a bad position, getting ganked from the jungler. But he's guaranteed to win lane. But when it comes to late game, you have to make sure your turrets are down if they're not getting blown up by either a ranger or a caster. Then like you're not really doing that much damage. But if you do get, just say thing like Wukong, if they're not focused on you, you can definitely melt an objective with your jungler pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Mainly Spirit Prime has like two AoE abilities, so they're usually gonna pull and do damage to the turrets to kill them. But Spirit you can definitely melt for sure.
I typically see with like Iggy's is they're typically always winning lane. And when it comes to late game, like one of his biggest downfalls is like ADCs kind of just burning his turrets.
Yeah. Can you crit? I can't think on the top of my head if you can crit his turrets.
You can.
You can? Okay. That just makes it so much worse.
As Sparrow, actually, when you ult, you can just kill all 3 turrets in 1 second.
Yeah, for sure.
One shot. And
I wasn't sure if you can crit his turrets or not.
Yeah, and it just makes it so much worse when you're playing against a Sparrow as Iggy, because you have to essentially have somebody help you late game, or you just get blown up.
Yeah, you definitely don't have like range poke like a Gideon or Howitzer to keep him at bay. It's all like pretty much melee range with Iggy.
Yeah.
And then like his Spire, you could drop down to your feet, but if they're not, on top of it, you're not really doing damage other than just your turrets. For melee divers, he's definitely a problem. But yeah, when it comes to late game, your turrets kind of get deleted by casters and rangers if they're in a bad spot. Do you think he's? I think he's B. What do you think?
That's hard. That's really hard. I mean, I could see him as like a solid pick, but I could also see him at the same time like when you get to that late game and your turrets are just getting instantly blown up, like you're not really a character at that point. Yeah. You're just there. So yeah, I could see B, 100%.
The one thing that makes him just, I don't know, it's kind of like, is Wraith better than Iggy? Like Iggy, same thing with like kind of Wraith, you have like really just great lane pressure, and with Wraith you can poke. With Iggy you just kind of dominate the lane waves wise. When it comes to late game, Wraith doesn't really have an ult, but he has good range poke, and then he has a way to peel one person off. Iggy, I don't know, this is a tough one.
It is. I think late game for Iggy, like his biggest downfall is his biggest thing is his turret.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think for me, I think like I would value Wraith a little bit more late game than I would from an Iggy. I know this sounds probably like really crazy, but when you know to just gun down those turrets, Iggy doesn't really get much value at that point.
Yeah. So. And then Wraith like he does have really great range poke, and I guess if you build him like with some basic attack damage, you can like one of the items you can do a little bit more damage just with autos, but also like maybe rewinding someone back in a like if someone's in a bad spot and you can catch them off, you rewind them, or if you can shoot them while they're running to root them and then put them in a bad spot with rewinding. Yeah, I feel like Wraith might just be a little bit more beneficial than Iggy late game.
For sure.
If he's not like, if Iggy isn't like isolated and soloing objectives. All right, next up we get Steel. Man, I love Steel. I think people don't play him enough. What do you think about him? I think he's mainly played in solo. It can be played in support, but mainly in solo.
So as a solo laner, I think he's super strong. He can almost always be dominant of the lane.
Is he really good at laning? I never really thought about his laning phase.
So when he dashes, he gets a shield. And typically what you'd want to do is dash, hit the enemy, group up the wave, right click it, run into a bush, repeat. And you do that over and over and over.
Yeah, I could see how that could be beneficial too. Yeah.
And then if you're worried about like taking damage from minions, you just throw down your shield. And you're not taking any damage at that point.
That's like his most OP kit is that shield.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think Steel, I see him in ranked, played correctly. I could see him A+.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think I would like to have a Steel pretty much always on my team. They just provide great CCs. The wall's really good. Their pill is just really good. The wall is just in a team fight. That wall is so massive.
Allowing your carries to just free cast beyond that wall or your mid, or being able to just have presence to walk up to objectives because of that wall.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Next up is gonna be Narbash. They'll play the weakest of the supports.
Oh, you already knew.
Narbash, like laning phase, Narbash is good because his heals are good, but that's about it. When it comes to like mid late game, all he's really known for is a stun.
Yeah.
Even Mako has like way better healing than he does.
Yeah, Mako. From what I've heard is Mako is now the better Narbash. From what I heard.
Yeah, his healing's just far better.
Yeah. I knew last season Narbash was like one of the top picks because his heal used to be a lot stronger, especially in the early game. But now they nerfed it. And then it costs a lot of mana, and you're just not getting the value that you would from playing like Mako or Muriel. So
yeah, they are definitely the better supports. What would you classify them as? Would you say B, like a B tier?
I would absolutely say B.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, I'm there too. Like late. So he's good. Like I don't know, level 1, 2, 3. I feel. But after that, because you have the heals and stuff, but after that, like if the Ranger's like going anti-heal, or even late game, people are gonna prioritize anti-heal. He just all he really has is a stun. He has no mobility. He's a big target. He's just gonna die. All right. Next up is Rev. This might be a little controversial. I have some opinions on Rev, but since you're the Ranger main, what are your thoughts about Rev?
So Rev has had a interesting go. At the start of the season, last season, he was kind of valued as a meh character. Not a lot of people knew what to really do with him, so everyone kind of built Rev like how you'd build Sparrow or TB. And then people started figuring out to just build him full crit straight off the bat, and it made him very, very strong. Almost one of the best ADCs in the game, because you could single out any ADC. You were critting for like 1200 every auto, and then you had that one like fourth auto that increased your damage, so you were hitting like 1500, something ridiculous.
Yeah, he was definitely top pick last split.
And then now that I feel like he got nerfed, not a lot of people are playing him very much anymore. Besides the ability to ult a jungler off an objective, which does make him very strong.
That's like the main thing about him late game, I feel, with his ult.
Typically, I would value him at A.
You think he's A? Okay.
I think he's A.
I was gonna put him B, but yeah, if you want him at A, you're the Ranger main here. We can put him at A.
I think just because whenever he's alive, he always has the presence over the enemy team to ult them off of the objective. And so even if you're behind, the enemy team's gonna know that we either have to team wipe or we just have to kill Rev and the jungler. You can't do one or the other. And so he kind of brings that kind of presence to every game. So
yeah, Rev is definitely like just my worst ADC. I don't like playing Rev. I hate that his Q spreads out through the wave. Nothing like, you know, Murdoch Q is pretty easy. His right click, you have to hope. Right now with the builds too, I think building is like 40% crit. You have to. I feel like you have to go 60% crit with Rev. You have to hope that fourth shot is going to be that lucky crit to get that max damage on it. So it's just like too many factors that go involved. But yeah, the main thing is like late game. He's good at ulting the enemy jungler to try to secure Prime. But like other than that, yeah, I just think he's definitely not the best ADC. I feel like Murdoch is just a better ADC for me than Rev.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, Chimera. Do you play Chimera in solo at all?
I don't.
No?
I vaguely remember you watching me play Chimera
Yeah, you're playing jungle. How did you do that game?
Dude, I was stinking it up. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you go damage? Did you go all damage?
Yeah.
Right,
I went full damage.
There's your problem. So when people, I don't know why, but people haven't learned yet. If you go full damage on Chimera, because he's an all-in character, like I feel like you're just gonna die. For me, I like to go like either one damaging item, mainly like Spirit's Fang, so I can like go in, ult, pop Spirit's Fang to get all that burst, and then from there I'm just taking shots to the face. Because he has, same thing with the Countess, he has to like leap onto an enemy to engage. You definitely want to build him as a tank. If you're going full damage and I feel like you're not really killing that backliner that quickly, especially if you have to like auto one of your abilities to make sure autos hit faster. So you have to like chase them in auto. Like easy example, if you jump onto a Murdoch, he's just gonna right click you away, and then you're just taking shots to the face while you're trying to run to him. But yeah, you have to go tanky. He's good that he can sustain off of the objectives. That's a positive. His ult can knock people away, but nothing crazy. Yeah, if you're definitely going damage, you're gonna get kind of wrecked. But as just a hybrid jungler, it's kind of tough because I kind of want to put him at B, but I also want to put him at A because he's not that terrible. But yeah, he's definitely he's a full committed character. Once you jump in, you're committed.
You're in it for to win it. Basically.
That's what I was asking, like if you maybe played him in solo, because like if it was solo, you could definitely go with the Greenstone. So you can like leap in, you know, get your abilities. If it's a bad situation, you can just teleport away. Or vice versa, you can teleport, ult, and then leap again to chase somebody. But as a jungler, he's definitely just all-in character.
Yeah, he's not really played in solo just because he's so easily gankable.
Yeah.
No escape. And a lot of people right now are kind of just like running like these ADC solos and stuff like that. And you just get walked down. It wouldn't even be like any contestation. So
B, I think B is probably where we put him.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, the last caster on the tier list, Gadget. Before she was pretty busted because her bomb did so much damage. Now I feel like she's just late game and ult bot, and it's not that big of an ult bot, so we could just like run out. But I know her bomb is like a single target. Her right click, it slows people down, but if you stay in it, you'll take a lot of damage, but you know it's a small radius. I don't think really people are going to be standing in there unless you get CC'd in there. And then she has a movement speed ability.
I think with Gadget, like one of her biggest things is her bomb. Like you said, it used to do a lot of damage, and when they, you know, tuned it down, then she was kind of left with less damage in the
Mhm.
bomb. It's really hard to get value off of that ult. Like most people are getting hit by it once and they're out.
Yeah.
And if you can, kind of stars align, have like, a steal or a decker or anything, and you cage them in, and then you get that ult off,
Yeah.
then you get a lot of value from it. But typically, you're not getting that value, and it kind of makes that character a lot worse.
Mhm. I
So,
definitely would prefer playing other casters over her. For me personally, even I'd probably rather play Iggy over her. I don't think she's
yeah,
like that bad. I don't think she's like C tier.
yeah,
I mean, I feel like she's kind of like borderline B or C.
I would say B, 100%.
All right, yeah, we'll put her in B. I'm kind of upset there's no one in C, because Decker's definitely not C.
Decker is definitely
Let's
not
put Narbash in C.
all right, all right.
We'll just meme around and put Narbash in C. Don't play him; he's a bad support. All right.
Should we throw Aurora in that tier too?
You want to put a? You think you want to put Aurora better than
Yeah,
Iggy?
well,
Okay.
yeah. I think this just kind of fits up nicely right here.
All right. All right. Last one. The jack of all trades, man. The supports, the ranger, and even sometimes I play her as a caster. Decker. What do you think about her? Do you play her as a ranger at all?
Actually, I have never played her as an ADC. I've been told multiple times that I should do it. I don't like how Decker plays to play her as an ADC. And a lot of the reasoning behind that is a lot of people, especially when you start playing the same people over and over again, and a lot of people know playing against me, I'll play Sparrow when I see a Decker, and a lot of people will do that when they see Decker. So when you try to go in for those solo kills or things like that as an ADC, you usually end up getting turned on pretty hard. You don't have the stem. You do have a stun, but it's just when it comes to autos, you typically start losing it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think it's kind of tough because like that stun's pretty huge when you're 1v1ing. Also, the AoE slow. If you get a like good position on the slow, it's like at level 1, I think it's minus 35 attack speed and movement speed, or 30. Like it's kind of crazy. You definitely feel it. But like Ranger Decker, I know. I think is it like the top player right now, or one of those two guys? Like they definitely just spam Decker.
Yeah,
And
so
builder like Ranger Decker crit and all that.
Yeah, so what he typically does is he'll play like Decker solo, and he'll build basically like an ADC. He'll get crossbow in there, so he'll get that attack speed slow off the E, but then he'll also be getting it off his autos as well. So you're
That's kind of
ending up
nutty.
with like
I didn't know it stacked like that.
yeah, you end up getting like a 60 something attack
That's kind of
speed
crazy.
slow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that stacking. Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, so it can be very strong.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, just going over her kit, like the stun, easy range stun to hit, kind of hard to miss. I think it can stun multiple people too if they're like really close. But that's a great ability. The AoE slow, attack speed and movement speed's really good. Her leap is gotten so much better. Her leap is insane. These are all like the things too that make her really good at being a ranger. It's just she's super safe. But then of course like her ult, to keep if people don't have a leap or if they use their blink, you just trap them in there, and they can't use any abilities. I guess besides Sparrow ability ult apparently that goes through, but yeah, she can stop a lot of projectiles. Ranger, yeah, I think she's pretty like solid as a ranger. I think support, people should be playing her as a support. I think she's really good at support. And then on the off chance, I'll play like mid Decker just because I don't want anybody else to get Decker because she's so good. Like if Wukong and what's it called in Iggy or banned or whoever it is banned, and my support doesn't want Muriel or doesn't want Decker, I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll play Decker mid so the enemy team doesn't have Decker.
Definitely, yeah.
but she is definitely really good in all aspects of the game. She's got a
versatile character for sure.
Yeah. I think she is the last S tier. What about you? What do you think?
I would definitely say that without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
She can be played in almost every single role.
Yeah.
Except for probably jungle, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Her jungle core might be kind of ass. No AoE autos.
Yeah, just a very, very versatile character, fits multiple roles, has a ton of utility between the ult, the auto slow, and the stun, and yeah.
I know, laning it. If I'm playing Ranger and I'm laying against a Decker, I'm like, it's just the worst feeling ever. You're constantly just getting stunned in the face. It's hard to like avoid it, and it's easy to hit, so you're just constantly getting poked.
Yeah, actually,
and this shit hits hard too.
Yeah, I have my bed's next to me, so typically when I'm playing against Decker, I'll just grab a pillow and I'll just start laying my chair further and further back the more they start hitting the stuns.
Yeah.
So.
And they add insult to injury. They throw in a teardrop first item. Like, okay, bro, you're an asshole.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, that's our tier. Any different adjustments you think you can go through? Anybody else?
I think that we have a pretty solid tier list here. I think in terms of like what we would see in ranked, I think this is absolutely what it looks like.
I feel like also even like outside of rank, even like going into quick play or casuals, like if you, I feel like you should be playing these heroes. If you're not, like, definitely play whatever you want to play. If you have fun playing Iggy, play Iggy, or if you have fun playing Narbash, play Narbash. But I think if you want to like climb the ranks, I think these are the heroes that you should be prioritizing.
Absolutely.
I think the one tricky one is Kwang, but
Kwang.
Kwang. But we definitely both agree like he is really good if you can be really good at him.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, man. I think it's a pretty successful tier list.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for being a part of this. It was like an hour and 30 minutes. So thank you for helping with the tier list. For you guys watching, if you guys haven't yet, Vendors, again, he's sometimes in the streams. He's in different streams, chilling. He also streams himself. Twitch.tv/Vendors. Definitely go check him out. He's right now currently number 2. He said he was going for number 1 on the leaderboard, and he mainly plays Ranger. So if you guys want to learn some Ranger skills, definitely go check this man out. All right, guys, and that's gonna be the end of the video. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.